Welcome to Mimio Training Quick Learn on Demand, MimioPad Setup and Support. In this session, we're going to conduct an overview of the MimioPad, including how to download the Mimio Studio software. We will do a MimioPad hardware review. I'll show you how to connect the MimioPad wireless pen tablet, as well as how to use it in both the student and the teacher mode. And finally, we'll conclude with being able to use the Mimio Studio control and collaborate features with your MimioPad. So let's get started. First and foremost, you need to make sure that you have the latest and greatest version of Mimio Studio. Of course, you can check what version you have and download that version from our website. So Mimio.com is where you would want to go and download the software right from there. You can certainly check what version you have by coming up here to the Help menu while you are in Mimio Studio and go down to About Mimio Studio. And there, when it pops up, you should be running the latest version, which I'm currently running 11.00. So again, if you have an older version than that, you can certainly go to Mimio.com and download that. If you are a Mac user, you can find out what version you have by going to your notebook menu and click on About Mimio Studio. So once you install that software on your computer, you are ready to go. If you don't have any other products, any other Mimio products, you can evaluate the full version for 30 days. Otherwise, you use a limited trial version, which has some features disabled. And to activate your software to enable the full version, all you have to do, it's real simple, is to connect any Mimio device that you may have. And that could include the Mimio Hub, could be a Mimio View document camera. Any Mimio product will automatically activate that software. So you can also utilize a software activation key, which we can provide you in the event that your product doesn't do that. But the product is the way to go for sure. So again, you want to be able to check your software by going to the About Mimio Studio window, make sure that you have the latest window or latest version. You can also, in this screen, check to evaluate the software for 30 days, and then also, if you need to, you can click on the Activate button if it doesn't do it automatically. So that is about the software and how to get that rolling. So if you already have the software running, you are set. So before I go any further, I want to address that we have two versions of the MimioPad out there. The one on the left, they're both called MimioPad. The one on the left, which is the gray one, works almost in the same exact way as the white one, in the fact that you can wirelessly connect to your computer, and students can use the tablet also to do a variety of things. So I'm going to go through both of these and show you the differences between those in case you have the gray one or the white one. You should be covered. With the white one, which is the latest version of the MimioPad, there are some definite advantages of that, which I'll talk about later on. So let's get into this real quick. Let's talk about the first generation of the MimioPad. So here's what you should have in your kit as far as all the products. You of course have the MimioPad wireless pen tablet. It does come with a pen, which uses a battery to send signals back to the MimioPad itself. You would have a wireless receiver, which is included in your package. It's also, if you flip this over, there's a little holder on the back of the MimioPad where this receiver can be stored when it's not being used over long periods of time. It also comes with a USB cable. That USB cable can be used, is used to charge the MimioPad. There's absolutely no batteries that you ever have to replace. We'll talk about more in just a second about that. And then you can attach the pen, the stylus, using the lanyard that's also provided. So that's what you're going to get in your kit there. Just a little bit of a blow up here of what you're going to see. So there's the pen. There's the lanyard that you unscrew the tip of that, the back of that pen, and you can connect the lanyard to one of the two attachment hooks that are on each side. So whichever way you want to attach there. Again, it does come with a lithium-ion battery that's rechargeable, much like a old cell phone battery. That's what you use the USB cable. You plug that into a little opening right there on the top side of it, and that plugs into your computer to charge it. The lifespan of these, again, you could use it continuously for probably 50 to 60 hours before you'd have to charge it, and that's continuous use. So, once it's fully charged, you could probably use it every single day in your classes, and then charge it at the end of the week for the following week. So it's very, very easy to work with. You'll also notice down here in the battery compartment, there are some replacement tips for the stylus pen. You can replace this tip if it ever gets worn down. And there is also a little pair of, I call them like little pliers or tweezers, if you will. But a little device there that helps you grab on, if you want, to that tip, and it simply pulls straight out, and then you can just push one of these replacement tips right back in. So nothing fancy about that. It's just all provided. You can certainly grab that with a pair of pliers or maybe your fingertips if you can get onto it good enough, and just pull that out when it's bad, and then just replace it. So real easy. Just wanting you to know that that's there, so if you ever do open this battery compartment, that those don't fall out and get lost. So that's a little bit about the MimioPad hardware. Let's go more on the front side and go around the horn here and get you set up to what you're going to see. So of course we have the power button. That's what you're going to hold down and depress to turn on and turn off. Of course the stylus with the built-in holder. You have a page down and a page up button, which you can press while you are in your Mimio Studio software, or really anything. You also have a volume button. So if you take your stylus tip and go around the circle, it will, if you go clockwise, it will turn your volume of your computer up. And if you go counterclockwise, it will turn it down. So it makes it a very useful tool if you are showing videos or you have sound in a presentation and you want to talk over that. You can really easily just turn that volume right down and turn it back up when you need it. As far as the display goes, the display has a variety of details here that might be useful for you. You're going to see the power indicator. You're going to see a unit number there. Right now this one is showing 001. And then lastly, you see a battery life indicator, and that tells you if you're getting close to needing to plug that into the USB charger. And then the main components here, we do have 16 shortcuts built in. All these are very similar, if not the same, as what you'll find here on the Mimio Studio toolbar and in the software. So they're all laid out there for you. This is a little sticker that comes in the box that you can put down. There's a label that you can put down that tells you what these are if you'd like to. But otherwise, you got the select tool, the pen, highlighter, you got your eraser, you got your typical cut, copy, and paste. You can create new pages in your notebook by clicking that button. You can do screen clipping, screen annotation. You can access your text tools. You can also go into presentation tools such as the Spotlight and the Reveal tool. You can open a new notebook page, a notebook file. You can also access, if your toolbar here would happen to get closed, that is also another easy way that you can reopen that toolbar by clicking the Tools button. And then lastly, you have easy access to using the Mimio Recorder if you choose to. Again, all of these tools are also accessible up here on the menu ribbon, but also on the Mimio toolbar that floats around your screen. So that's a quick synopsis of the tools that you will find built into the MimioPad, giving you quick access to everything. Now let's talk about how to get connected to your MimioPad. Now again, the MimioPad is really, really simple. You never have to calibrate your screen when you use any MimioPad, and that's a little bit different from if you have a MimioTeach. You can use the MimioPad in conjunction with a MimioTeach, keeping in mind that the MimioPad all on its own is its own interactive whiteboard. It just allows you to be wirelessly in your room interacting with what's on your screen, anything on your computer. So you can also use a MimioTeach at your board, which the difference is obviously with the MimioTeach, the white bar, or the gray Mimio XI bar, is that to interact with your computer you have to be, or students have to be even, at the board interacting. So the advantages of the MimioPad allows you to be out amongst your students and giving them control of what's going on. So getting connected, it's real easy. It's typically very automatic. It's just plug and play and you're ready to roll. If it's not, I have included here some things that you can definitely go through and look at. So you're going to make sure you connect that wireless receiver that is in your kit or maybe stored on the back of your MimioPad if you look for it back there. Plug that into any active USB port on your computer. Simply turn that MimioPad on and it should just work. If it doesn't, what you can do is you'll go up to Tools, Settings, and Classroom Devices. And I'm going to do that. So Tools, down to Settings, and then you're going to choose the very top option. And you should see down here MimioPad, and it should say connected. Now I have the new MimioPad connected currently, and I'm going to show you what would happen. Maybe if you're not getting your MimioPad to work, but you have everything plugged in right, I'm going to reset this. And one thing you might see here when it repopulates is it's going to say available. So on either MimioPad, if it does say available, again, typically it's very automatic. But if it does say available, all you have to do is click on that and then come down here to connect, and then you are in like Flynn. It will all connect. and you are set. And then hit OK to get out of that. So again, it just should be ready to go. It should say connected, but if it does say available, you're simply going to click on that connect and OK. So if you ever run into any problems, that's what you want to look at. Now you can connect up to 50 or 60 different MimioPads version 1 at once. And all you have to do is get them all synced up. So to resync your MimioPad to connect with your computer, or if you ever have connection issues, if everything's plugged in and nothing is connecting right, one thing to try is to resync your MimioPad. So here's how you do that. Let me zoom in on this real quick. So again, while everything is connected to your computer, your receiver is plugged into your computer, you're going to press and hold the button on this wireless receiver. You're going to press that for about 8 to 10 seconds. It should start blinking. It should light up. When it does that, you then are going to flip over your MimioPad, and there's a red button. And you want to just simply depress that red button for a few seconds until you notice on the MimioPad it should clear out, and then it should indicate a unit number. So eventually it will be set to a unit number. If you only have one MimioPad, it will say 001. If you have other MimioPads, they'll just keep going up in numbers. So once that unit number is displayed, you should be set. If you do have more MimioPads that you want to connect, you're simply going to go through that resync process, and you can add up to those 60 MimioPads all at once. Again, keeping in mind, especially if you have well, either version of the MimioPad, one student, even though you might have 50 or 60 MimioPads deployed in your classroom, which that might be kind of crazy in today's classroom, but let's say in a college environment you might have that many. It's only one MimioPad will be able to interact at a time. So you'll simply be able to have take turns on those students that have the MimioPads if you have that many deployed. But the key point of this is that you can connect multiple MimioPads for independent use when you have that option. So that's how you get the MimioPad connected. It really should just be plug and play and you're ready to go. All right, so let's switch over to talking about the new MimioPad version that's out there. So again, very similar as far as what you receive. You have the MimioPad wireless pen tablet right there. You have a stylus. Now the difference between this stylus and the previous version is that there are no batteries. No batteries do you ever have to worry about. So on the previous version, let me go back here, that's one thing you may have to check. If your MimioPad was working and then all of a sudden it shows the right number but it's not working, definitely go in and replace the battery. You unscrew the back end of this and this top pops off, and you can replace that with a AAA battery, and then you'll be good to go. But with the new version, you never have any batteries to replace. It also is rechargeable. It has a built-in battery. It charges with a similar type of USB cable. It's just a micro USB cable, similar to ones that might be available now for most cell phones and BlackBerries and things like that. It too has a lanyard that you can connect to the stylus, and we'll talk about more how that stores in just a second. Now, this pad is also wireless, but it works off of a little bit different technology. It uses the MimioHub wireless receiver, which is the same exact receiver that the MimioTeach uses, as well as the MimioVote. So the good thing about this is that you only need one MimioHub. So you might have multiple products, and you might have a couple of these MimioHubs laying around. You only need one MimioHub, and it talks to all of these devices, which are all white: the MimioTeach, the MimioVote, and the MimioPad. Now, because of that, and because the MimioPad is viewed as an accessory item, the MimioHub is not included with this kit. So if you have other Mimio products, you're ready to roll. If this is your only Mimio interactive product, you'll want to reach out to your salesperson and possibly, if you don't already have it, order a wireless receiver, which allows the computer to communicate with your MimioPad. So just in case you need that information, I'm going to throw a link out here in the chat window that you can find out how to contact a salesperson for more information about that, or your local reseller. So very much the same layout. It uses a little bit different technology to communicate with the computer. Again, you only need one hub to connect all of the white devices: the MimioTeach interactive bar, the MimioVote system, as well as the MimioPad new version. So let's get a little bit more in depth. It too has a place to hold the stylus, but it's magnetic here on the top of it. It has a little magnetic band that simply connects there. It also has some buttons, which I didn't mention that on the previous stylus, but it has just like the previous version stylus pen, there's a couple buttons. Let me go back here that you can depress to do things, right-click and whatnot. The new stylus has just one button. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. It has one button that you can depress, and that serves as your right-click. You can also, again, charge it. There's a little place here at the top right to where that USB connector goes in, so it charges it. You can navigate between pages in your Mimio notebook by clicking the appropriate buttons there. It also has a power light button, and that we'll also use that for resyncing in just a second. We'll talk about that. And it too has a display that has various pieces of information, such as whether or not it's communicating or the stylus is being used to communicate with the computer. It also tells you here not only what unit number you might have, but also what mode it's in. We'll talk about that here in a second, as this MimioPad can be connected in both a teacher mode, which it's currently in because of the 00 and the person icon, or a student mode, which it wouldn't have the person, and it would have a 01, 02, so on and so forth. Lastly, there's a battery indicator, once again, that shows you the amount of charge left and when it's getting close to using the USB cable to charge it. Now, just like the previous version of the MimioPad, there are a set of shortcuts available, and those are all mentioned right here. So many of the same, such as the select, the pen highlighter, eraser, the cut, copy, paste. You have an undo and redo buttons up here. You have access to the tools. So again, if your Mimio tools close accidentally, that's one way you can get those back open. You have a button here for the annotate, the text tools, and then new buttons on this MimioPad include easy access to the MimioVote Quick Vote assessment. So by pressing that, you'll engage the Quick Vote system right off the bat that you can utilize. If you have a MimioView document camera, you can activate and turn that on right from the convenience of your MimioPad by pressing or tapping with the stylus on the MimioView button. You can also go into a control mode. If you have other MimioPads, the new version of the MimioPad, or any mobile device, if you have the Mimio Mobile activated on your computer, you can send individual student control to take part in activities. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. And you can also access a host of other applications within Mimio Studio by pressing the Launch menu. That's the same button that would be found on the bottom of the Mimio Teach bar. But by pressing that, you're going to get a range of other applications that could be utilized, such as the Reveal Spotlight tools, MimioView, MimioVote, and also the Collaborate feature that can be used with the MimioPad, the new MimioPad, as well as Mimio Mobile. So that's a little bit of a rundown of the MimioPad hardware. Let me see what else I wanted to show you here. Again, when you do press that launch button, this is the image that's going to show up on your screen here. All right, so that's going to give you access to all those other shortcuts. So, how to get this MimioPad connected? Again, it's much the same capacity that you just plug the Mimio Hub in, and it should typically work. There are a variety of status lights on this one that tells you what's going on. Of course, green means you're good to go. If it's off, though, it means it's not receiving power or the batteries are drained. So turn it on and make sure it's charged. If it's flashing green, if this little light here is flashing green, it means it's connected, getting power, but your Mimio Studio software isn't running. So make sure that's going, although you can use your MimioPad outside of Mimio Studio. But you do have to have Mimio Studio installed, and even if you don't have Mimio Studio actively open, like I do currently, it is always running in the background, and that's what allows your MimioPad to work. So make sure you have the Mimio Studio software installed. If this light is solid amber, that means it's connected and getting power, but it's searching for its connection. So it may be needing to get resynced. And we're going to resync this similar to what we did on the first version, but it's a little bit different, I guess we could say. So again, you want to make sure, just the same way that you have the Mimio Hub connected to a USB port, you're going to make sure you press that button and get that thing turned on. Just like we did on the previous version, you're going to come up here to Tools and Settings. And just like we saw before, if we click on Classroom Devices, you should see the Mimio Hub listed and the MimioPad. So if you don't have the Mimio Hub, I would simply pull the Mimio Hub out and try to plug it back in. There may be a connection problem with your computer. So again, the MimioPad, the new MimioPad, works by communicating through the MimioHub wireless receiver. So again, just like we saw previously, let me close that out. It will say connected and you're ready to go. If it says available, once again, you click on the available. Let me zoom in on this guy here. You click on the available, make sure it's selected, and then click connect, just like we did earlier. So once you do that, you should be golden and set to roll. And then again, you can connect multiple MimioPads together. And to do this, you do kind of similar to the last version, but this is where we go a little bit different. Again, to resync a new MimioPad or multiple pads. So again, where this technique would be helpful is if you have everything plugged in right, it's charged, your MimioPad is not talking to your computer. It simply may need resynced. So all you have to do is there's one button to press. So on your MimioPad, there's that power button. It's also a resync button. So you want to press that down for about 10 seconds and hold it down, and it will resync your MimioHub to your MimioPad. Again, you may need to come up here to Settings, Tools and Settings, go to Classroom Devices, and change MimioPad from Available to Connected. So just keep that in mind. It simply resyncs the signal and lets you get up and running. If you have multiple MimioPads, you're going to do the same exact process. For every MimioPad, you're going to press the button on that particular MimioPad and have it resync. And as you do that, those student MimioPads will renumber themselves 01, 02, 03. You can only have one teacher MimioPad connected at a time. Again, if you have the gray version of the pad, it's always in the teacher mode. The new version, you can be in both a teacher mode for one person, and then you can have other students connected in the student mode. So again, you'll notice on this display, if you have the person icon and a 00, that is teacher mode. If you want to be in student mode, I'll show you how to change that in just a second. But if you're going to be in student mode, that display will not have a person, and it will say 01, 02, 03. So how to connect this for teacher or student use if you need this option at all. It's real easy to configure it. Once you get all the devices connected, it should just show up. But again, we're going to go to Settings. Let me zoom in on this screenshot here. Going to go to Tools and Settings, and then for every student that's listed, it should say Student under the type. So if we go down here to Tablet Devices, you should see a number, each student listed down here, and it should say what unit number. You can toggle between student and teacher, keeping in mind you can only have one teacher at a time, by right-clicking and change to either Make Teacher or Make Student. And again, here's what the display will look like. If you're in teacher mode, it's simply going to say the unit number. If you are in teacher mode, it's going to have that 00. All right, so just keep that in mind as far as you can toggle between it. Now, I only have one device connected, so you won't see a list of these things, but I'll show you real quickly how to click on that. So I'm going to go down to, again, Tools, Settings, Tablet Devices. So I'm currently in teacher mode, but if I want to put this into a student mode for some reason, I'm going to right-click on that and simply click Make Student. If I want to change that back, I can right-click and go to Make Teacher. So it's just something that you would do in advance depending on how you are going to use this. If you're simply going to be passing your MimioPad off to students to use, I would simply keep it in teacher mode so they have full access to everything. So the student mode is to be used for other activities such as the Control and Collaborate, which we'll talk about here briefly. I will also mention here that if you have a MimioMobile enabled mobile device, such as an iPad or an Android device connected, that you are using as a teacher, that device will automatically take precedence and become the teacher device. And if you are also using a teacher MimioPad, it will automatically know that you are using a mobile device as a teacher, and it will turn the teacher MimioPad into a student MimioPad just automatically. So again, you can only have one teacher device to control things, and a mobile device such as an iPad or an Android device, when it's set to being a teacher, will always take precedence. So you can learn more about the MimioMobile and how to use mobile devices in our Mimio Goes Mobile Quick Learn session if you check on our site, mimio.com. All right, so we've got it all set up. Hopefully you can kind of walk through, if you need this information, how to change it over from student to teacher. And then we're going to talk about real quick some of the things I've been mentioning. So again, using your MimioPad, it utilizes features that are built into the software, allowing for control and collaboration. So I may be mentioning here a little bit the Mimio mobile app, which if you do have mobile devices in your classroom, you can use that in conjunction with using the MimioPads. But what's great about the MimioPad is that you don't have to purchase anything else for you to be able to utilize these, other than having multiple of the new MimioPads. So you can use your teacher MimioPad, and you can, if you have other student MimioPads, the white version, you can actually go back and forth and give individual control of everything you're doing within the Mimio Studio software or your computer itself, and give them that control to manipulate things. So if you have multiple MimioPads in your classroom of the white version, using your teacher pad, you can come up here to the top toolbar. So this is the top toolbar you see on the actual MimioPad. You can click that little person icon, and again, that is the control icon. When you click that, you're going to see a little pop-up box that shows up here. And this will show any students that are connected either via a MimioPad, like they're numbered here, or a mobile device. So in this particular case, I have a teacher mobile device that I would be using. I'd have 2 other mobile devices that are in use, and then 2 students might be using MimioPad. So it shows you can use a mixture of different technologies. So once you press that control button, you would simply tap on which student you're going to give control to. And as soon as you do that, all the other students that might have a device are locked out currently, and only that one student you've given control has access to things. So again, if this is maybe a student that has a mobile device, let's say, they have complete control over everything that I'm doing. Otherwise, they're going to be using their MimioPad and watching the projected image on the screen and being able to move things and draw and do all sorts of interactions. And then to take back control or to give control to another student, you're going to do the same thing on the MimioPad. You're going to press that control icon, and you're going to select a different student, or if you want control back as a teacher, you're going to select the teacher device, whatever that is. So let me show you real quick this in action. I have a little movie clip here. Let me zoom in on this. This will kind of show you some of this in action if this helps at all. So let me click this, and you can kind of walk through that. So as I see here, the teacher has just pressed the control button. They're going over and selecting a student. This teacher is actually using an iPad to give control, but you could do the same thing using the MimioPad. So they've gone back and forth. They're giving it to another student as the student interacts with the board, and it's really, really that simple. So, and then you can also give them control. Again, this would be a student using the pen tool to write on the screen as the teacher is giving them control. So you have access to giving students total access to using all the tools or really anything within the software. So again, you can learn much more about this in our Mimio Goes Mobile Quick Learn session, which I'll throw a link in here in the chat window that you can go learn more about all of our Quick Learn sessions. So the other fantastic feature that's built into Mimio Studio is the use of collaboration through Mimio Studio Collaborate. So as I go back, let me go back to Mimio Studio Control. So I didn't mention that you can give control to unlimited numbers of students, but it's one student at a time. All right, so you could have 24 students in your classroom, all with a MimioPad, and go back and forth one at a time and give individual control of your software. Using Mimio Studio Collaborate in a combination of either MimioPads or maybe you have mobile devices in your classroom with a Mimio, and you have Mimio Mobile enabled on your computer, you can connect up to 9 students or 9 groups of students at a time to all engage at the same time. So it gives you phenomenal resources as a teacher to get those collaborative activities processed in your classroom. So once again, it's real simple to get into collaboration. So again, the collaborate and the control features only work when you have multiple student devices, whether MimioPad or mobile devices, connected to your computer. Otherwise, when you click these buttons that I've showed you, they'll give you errors. There's nobody to connect to. So if you do have a class set of students with mobile devices or MimioPads or combinations, once they're all connected, you are going to, on the top ribbon bar, so this is something new within Studio 11, you can actually push out interactive activities out to your students, their mobile devices, or for them to be able to manipulate those through the MimioPad by pressing this collaborate icon. So when you press that icon, every device that's connected is going to get their own independent screen, and that's what we are seeing right here. Let me zoom in on this. So every screen that's represented has a name attached to it. So these people would all be using, the three people here would be using mobile devices, and this person here would be on a MimioPad. So they each get their own version of the activity, and they all can interact separately, and they're all doing it at the same time. So what's great about this is you can also, at any time, you can have students do their own little whiteboard presentations. Down at the bottom right of every little screen is a full screen icon. So if they click that button, whichever corner you click, whichever student you click, it's going to full screen that student, so that, and they're going to be able to continue working. Everybody else is kind of locked out or suspended while this student demonstrates what they're doing or while they present. And then all you have to do is click that button again, and it goes back to where everybody is back to being engaged. So it gives you phenomenal abilities to collaborate. And again, you can connect up to the first 9 mobile devices, which could include, again, iPads, Android devices, and or MimioPads, keeping in mind that if you do have mobile devices or Android devices, you do have to purchase separately the license to enable the Mimio Mobile to work on your computer with those devices. Again, you can learn more at mimio.com. Let's go through what this would look like if we actually did the process together. So let me zoom in on this little movie clip, and I'll talk through this one. So again, this is going to show you a teacher enabling the collaborate mode. So they just press the collaborate button. 4 students popped up here, and at this point, if those students were instructed to do so, they would be able to independently start moving these objects and sorting them all at once. All this would be happening simultaneously. They'd be able to sort this activity. That the teacher could come in here, press the full screen button, and zoom in on what this student is doing and really highlight what's going on. So it gives you tremendous possibilities of learning and engaging those kiddos. So that is Mimio Studio Collaborate. One other collaborate mode that we have built into the software is called Quick Collaborate. So Quick Collaborate is essentially the ability to allow students to openly write or draw things on a blank whiteboard screen. So it gives you a lot of possibilities of how you can do this. So on the MimioPad or on your mobile device, you would click on the launch menu here. And when you click on that launch menu, you are going to see another ribbon pop up like we saw earlier, and you're going to press the Quick Collaborate button. So when you do that, that is going to split your screen that's being projected into however many devices up to 9 devices. It's going to split those into individual whiteboard screens. And this gives students the ability to use their pen tools, their highlighter tools, and their eraser to write down anything that's going on. Again, all of this happens simultaneously. So in this example, there may be 4 students that have been assigned an algebra problem, and they're all working, showing their work. Again, the teacher can come in, zoom in on a screen to focus in on that student's work, and all that works the same way. So a lot of potential as far as how you do that. Alternately, you can also access the Quick Collaborate by going over to your Mimio Studio toolbar, click on the Applications button, and choose Quick Collaborate. Again, this feature will not work unless you have devices that are connected to your computer. What's great about any of the Collaborate modes is that as soon as you exit out of Collaborate, again, to exit out of Collaborate, all you would have to do, let me close this guy real quick. To exit out of any Collaborate mode, you simply click on the red X like you normally would with any window. Click on that. As soon as you click out of that and exit, all of that work that was just done is automatically captured in the Mimio Studio Gallery with no effort, any more effort on your part. So if you go to your Mimio Studio Gallery, open that up. So here's the Gallery button right there. And if you go to the bottom folder, which is called Collaborative Sessions, it's automatically going to date stamp and time stamp those activities that you were doing. And so what you can do here is you can double click that, and that opens up into its own individual ink file. So if I had 4 students that were connected at the time, I'm going to open up one file, and that one file will have 4 pages. And each page is automatically going to be coded with the student that was doing that work. So it's a great tool to be able to document what was going on, to extend that lesson later on with students, and it's all saved automatically. So check that out for sure. It gives you a tremendous amount of options as far as how you can manipulate that. So lastly, let's end here with this little video clip that shows you how this is all put into action. So again, I simply start with maybe a white screen. I wouldn't have to have anything going. I can simply start with a white screen. I'm going to engage that quick collaborate button right there. So if I click that, every student that is connected will automatically get their own whiteboard screen, and they can all write simultaneously as you're seeing these quick multiplication facts being written. So you can make it into some timed events. Again, you can click on any of these full screen buttons to focus in on what students have done. You at any time as a teacher can use your own set of tools and write over any lesson at any time, just like I'm demonstrating there, to really build in the educational value of the activity. So that gives you a lot of different options as far as what you want to do. So with that, that shows you the various ways that you can engage and collaborate with your students. As we wrap up this session, some Mimio extensions that we'd like to leave you with. Again, if you have a MimioPad, get that thing charged and connected to your MimioPad. Start using it. Find ways to just automatically use that to integrate it into what you already normally do. Don't make it into any extra work. It's really not. It should be a technology tool that enables you to make things easier for you and your students. Most importantly, probably, is get the technology in the hands of your students. Get them out there using it. It's very important for you to kind of get away from that on the stage business. Definitely you want to make sure you have the Mimio Studio software installed and start to learn how to use that more, which you can do that definitely by attending any of our Quick Learn sessions available at mimio.com. We do have a range of training options, both available on demand and online, including a number of reference guides and PDF forms and user guides, a number of video tutorials that are 3 to 7 minutes in length that you can get up to speed very quickly on just about everything Mimio. We also have, obviously, the Quick Learn program, but it's also available, which is what you're watching now, and the on-demand recording option. So available 24/7, 365. The difference between the recordings and the Quick Learn, obviously, we have Mimio expert teachers using the products every single day in their classroom that are waiting for you nearly every night to listen to your questions and give you ideas of really how to use the products in your classroom. So definitely value the live Quick Learn versions for what is possible there. We also have, if you haven't known this already, a fantastic teacher community called Mimio Connect. It's absolutely free. Make sure you check that out if you haven't already. It is a teacher site for teachers, all run by teachers. Lots of free content. Everything's free. Much of the content is aligned to state and Common Core standards. And we even have a set of Mimio Masters that are answering your questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if you throw those questions out there. So it's truly a teacher for teacher community. So check it out, become a member. We have a whole host of Mimio Classroom products here which you may be familiar with, including the Mimio Teach, which I've referenced, the Mimio mobile app, Mimio Vote, but a host of other things that you could check out. Definitely contact your reseller if you would like to find out more. And with that, I'd like to say thank you for joining me in this quick rendition of how to use your MimioPad. And if you have any other questions, we'd love to hear from you. Just simply email us at training@mimio.com. And be sure to check out any of our other Mimio Quick Learn sessions as well as our Quick Learn on-demand recordings when it's convenient for you. We also would love for you to get interactive with us on any of our social media channels, such as Facebook, our YouTube Mimio channel, as well as Twitter. So with that, I say thank you and hope to see you again soon.